Hey everybody, super creepy. This light's super creepy, and I'm super tired, and I don't want. I want to like hold off from. I'm really trying to hold off from like turning into like a freaking vampire. Like, I don't know why it's like a challenge to me, but like in every video, I'm just like right away turning into like a vampire. Trying to like, I'm being weird. It's a weird video. I want to talk about. See, I'm already doing it. I'm like trying to hold back. Trying to. Damn it. I don't know why this is so difficult. Forgive my language again. I'm tired, and I'm resisting the urge to transform. This is really difficult. It's like I see myself, and I'm like, man, you could do so much better. All right, I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna try my best to not. It's gonna be some tired dude. Looks like. I don't know if I'm just gonna start talking. I'm gonna transform. I know it. Anywho, um, so yeah, long day. Just got off work. I think I gotta work tomorrow. I don't even know. Gotta check. Don't matter. I'm just gonna wake up and do my thing regardless. Um, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about how to kill a vampire, and I want to talk about how to make a vampire fall in love with you. Woo! All right. Yeah, I really do want to talk about a story. See, I'm already transforming. Um, so I'm gonna try my best to not transform. That's my challenge for this video. Um, and like obviously, like I can see that I'm already doing it, but like I'm holding back, resisting right now. I can feel myself resisting. Because I want to be tired, because I want to be, you know, but we'll see. Um, kind of train myself to like every time I like look in the mirror, I'm like, hey man, you can do better. I just transform or whatever. I don't know why I do that. It's probably not a good thing. It's probably unhealthy, psychologically. But I do it for funsies, but I've also trained myself. So, how do you kill a vampire? Well, I've been thinking about this joke for a while. So I've been really wanting to say it. So, how do you kill a vampire? Well, you just run them over with a car. It's funny because I ride a bicycle and people try to hit me with their cars sometimes. Hey, um, I have never seen a vampire die before, so I wouldn't know. Um, I assume it's the same as a regular person, maybe a little bit more difficult. I've talked about in previous videos using kind of higher level transformations to come back from serious injury. Um, but yeah, I like to think that vampires back in the good old days of like sword fighting and like large battles or whatever, like the vampires were like the immortals, right? They were like the ones on the battlefield, like kicking butt, you know, making everybody like on their team, feel empowered, you know. Uh, but I don't know. Hell, I don't know. Um, like when I got turned into a vampire, I assume that it was much like a. I think of it like this is me just venting. Okay, I don't actually know, and this is what I think, and I haven't talked about this ever. So forgive me for kind of stuttering, and I'm sure it's therapy, but this is on message, positive vampire awareness, educational. So I don't really know like if I got like a certain strain of vampirism. Like if you think of it like a virus, see, I'm already transforming my face. You can see it. I don't know. Like, are there different strains of vampirism? Probably. Um, does it affect if you become a vampire? Is it like Twilight where you get like special abilities, specialized magical stuff? I don't know. I would say probably in some way, depending on who you are. I don't know. Um, so do I think so? Back talking about like the battlefield and like how do you kill a vampire and stuff. Are there different strains of vampirism that make um, a person more difficult to uh, defeat in battle? I don't know. I like to think so. That'd be kind of cool. From like a nerdy, I want to say sci-fi, but fantasy. It'd be kind of cool to imagine that. Also kind of terrifying, but yeah. Um, I do want to talk about story. Um, Back when I was drinking a lot, and back when I recently, got turned into a vampire. Um, I won't go into much details, but um, let's just say I was drunk, real drunk, drinking a lot, and I met a dude, just say a dude, a guy, who identified himself as a werewolf. He said, "Hey, buddy." He didn't say this, and I don't know his name or anything like that, but he scared me, right? Um, Long story short, we became friends. He said, I'm a werewolf, and I know what you are. I know you're a vampire, and let's go drink. We're gonna drink together. We're gonna party, and it was weird because like being with someone who clearly was drunk like me, but he didn't uh, hurt me. I don't think he did. Maybe magically. I don't know. Maybe spiritually, magically. Who knows? But I remember, and we went outside once and we were smoking, and I forget what it was. It was like we started a contest, like he was talking about how awesome he is at fighting, and I was just drunk, and I'm like, all right, show me something. So next thing I know, he's got me in like a headlock or whatever, and like I'm just like, whoa, all right, man, prove your point. That's crazy. But he didn't hurt me, which is, and the story keeps going. We were partying, we were just hanging out. I don't remember much, and I remember like going, like we went back to his, uh, we went back to his place or whatever. Okay, I won't go in details. And he said, "Hey man, this whole place is filled with." I won't say specifically what it was, but he's like stuff that could hurt you or whatever. I'm like, okay. I'm just totally unfazed. Like, I don't know why I was so not scared, but I wasn't scared. I was just like, oh, okay, you know, which is weird. The whole time I wasn't scared, which is really weird. Like, you would assume, like, I do get scared. I get scared of I get scared of dogs. I get scared of, storms. But I wasn't feeling scared. I was just like, okay. I remember once. This I don't know if this is like a thing I should really not talk about or not. I don't know, but we kind of he had like a place where we could sit outside and just me and him. We kind of was talking like spiritual stuff. He's just like, okay, go ahead and hold out your hand and put your hand over my hand. I'm like, well, okay. And he's like, I was kind of getting the feeling that this guy could like teach me something, because I don't really know anything. He's like, all right, I'm gonna tell you what you are, what kind of vampire you are. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'll tell you what kind of vampire you are. I said, okay. Obviously, for one, I don't know who the heck this person is. Two, we've been drinking. And three, who am I to believe, anything this person's saying? But, I'm willing to this, again, this is a good reason never to do drugs. Alcohol, never do alcohol, never do anything considered that, never do it. And I would never do it again. Because you make bad decisions. So, guy says, by the way, I'm smoking nicotine. This is nicotine, by the way. He says, all right, so the type of vampire you are a dragon. I said, what? What does that mean? I don't even know if I asked him. All I remember, again, we were drinking, is leaving, and I'm leaving this place, and, I don't remember how I got there, really. In a car or whatever. I sure as heck wasn't driving. That's for dang sure. And I remember him showing me, he held out his hand, and he's like, look at these. Like, what are those? He's like, these are silver bullets. I said, oh, okay. And, we're just kind of drunk, some drunk dudes. Kind of, not, we weren't drunk. Like, obviously, we were, I could tell that this guy was a spiritual being of some sort, because he had the ability to clear his head. And he wasn't talking with a slur or anything like that. Neither was I. I was periodically, but I could, kind of at that time I wasn't aware. I was just, at times becoming was able to sober up quickly, kind of enter a vampiric state where mind kind of works differently. And I don't remember. I think the night just ended. I kind of just left, and I honestly don't even remember how I got home, or how I got, but that's all I remember. Nothing bad happened. But still traumatized me. Someone you're talking to is holding his hand some silver bullets, and he's kind of crazy eyed, and I'm like, yeah, I got to get out of here. So that's all I remember. I mean, there's some other little things, but kind of a scary story. Obviously, I don't want to be around any people who are, I guess I consider all that stuff bad stuff, obviously. Like people who are like that, I would consider bad people, okay? Like there are bad people out there. And that's why I don't hang around bad people. And if I see a person who shows those kind of really bad um, let's just say decision making in their life, stay away from that. Because, to me, if a person has made the decision, those kind of decisions, they've made other kind of decisions, and you gotta stay away from that. And so yeah, I'm glad I talked about this story, even though I know it's a little much. Um, but it's for therapy, you know. Um, don't drink. Drinking's terrible for many reasons. But if I was not drinking, would I have? No, I wouldn't. Hell no. You know, no. Uh, this was a long time ago. So, all right. Now the other topic: how do you make a vampire fall in love? How do you love a vampire? Well, loving a vampire is pretty dang easy. But what I've discovered is that a part of me is different than other people. Um, I'm still trying to figure out how to trying to think of the right word. It's painful for me to to talk about this, but you know, it ain't normal for a man to just be able to fall out of love or fall out of the process. It's the process of being in love. It's not that ain't normal. The way that I can just, you know, like typically, like if a man loves somebody, there are things that the person can or uh, just does that may make the may make a man not be interested in pursuing uh, or kind of retreating out of a relationship. But for me, it's like when I start to go into a vampiric state, it's like the I don't want to say my memory goes away, but in a way it does. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. I'm glad I'm talking about this too. Um, I'm able to block out memories and stuff like that, and just get rid of it. But I don't know if that's purely vampiric or that just me training myself over years so that I can focus. You know, but I think it is vampire related, and but yeah, how do you get a man who can fall out of love at will? Fall out of love um, whenever he wants to, or whenever he doesn't even realize he's doing it. How can a man like that pursue a very loving relationship? Well, I'm not talking about like I love people like, it's very obvious, like, but it's like a brotherly sisterly love. It's like the kind of love that's like, hey buddy, how you doing? How you doing? All right. It's not the romance deep. It's totally different. And like I question this what I said because obviously I've when I was younger, still a vampire, but younger, I would chase, pursue, um, if, a person who, female who, um, I really, really liked when I was younger. I did that, be very interested and be susceptible to, um, getting all dizzy and, you know, but now that I'm older, don't do that no more. And so it's a little bit complicated because, like I said, I don't really have anybody to, not, I don't, I don't, if I could, I think of a situation where if I had a mentor that was vampire, like an older male vampire, would I even ask him these kind of questions? Like, how do I think I'd be scared of the answer, to be honest, because, part of me would want to hear that person say, hey, it's you. You got to figure it out yourself. But I'd be even more scared to hear another answer and be like, well, you got to do this, this, and this. And I'd be like, no. uh, Not to say that that'd probably be any kind of, the reason why I would say no or whatever, that sounded really weird. The reason why I would do that, if you have that feeling inside, would be because I wouldn't want to think. I definitely would be opposed to hearing advice about love and relationship advice from another man in general, particularly one that was like me and who knew the answer. I don't know why I'd feel such an aversion to that, but I do. I would. It'd make me feel just really lame, but like lame in a way that would probably like do some like psychological damage of some sort. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a fear. But I definitely do want to be in love. Definitely want to, you know. Um, but I was thinking about this tonight too. Like, I can see when a female is falling in love or whatever. I know I shouldn't say whatever, but because it is. I want to be serious about it, but I also want to be lighthearted about it because I don't want to. It is a serious topic because obviously I do care about people, but to me, I spent some time. The reason why I want to be kind of silly about it is because it used to really bring me down. The fact that I was like, what's wrong with me? I feel like uh, I really like this person, but I can't get to that point where they're at, you know, and it hurts, and I felt super guilty because I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Uh, but I stopped feeling that guilt when I started to accept that it's part of being a vampire. I can't change that, but I could try to figure out how to, you know, really what I figured out was that, or kind of have come to accept to this day, like today, I would say that it's my lifestyle. I have to accept the fact that I just want to It's kind of like being a rock star, you know. But I don't know. Um, Still trying to figure it out, but I am making steps. Obviously, I've got um, the butterflies, you know, and the feelings of infatuation and love towards to different to to different. It feels different. The butterflies with um, that I feel for different women. It's a different experience. Um, and I used to be scared that, you know, again, you know, what I said, when I see a person's at a certain point and I'm not at that point, I just it doesn't feel right, you know. And it's frustrating, really frustrating for me, and for the other person, and for other people who can see what's going on and be like, hey, those two people really like each other. What the hell's wrong with that guy? He's like, oh yeah, he's a freaking vampire and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, you know, when it comes to this kind of stuff. But it is embarrassing to admit. Yeah, definitely a therapy moment for sure because I feel that pain, and yeah, there's a lot of pain that I feel when it comes to that. Maybe that's part of the problem. Like, do I think I can? I really don't like this. Like, it makes my, I don't know, it makes me give like a makes my skin crawl to think that I think that's the right expression. You know, like, well, and this is just me just saying it. You know, I really don't like saying this, but I'm just gonna say it for therapy's sake. You know, like maybe the girl that I like is at a certain point, but I'm not. But maybe I should fake it till I make it. You know, fake till I make it. The expression fake until you know it feels right for me. But it feels that I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. But you know, I've never tried to do that. But I don't know. There might be some truth to that. Because you know maybe I've got the trauma and the pain that's holding me back. I need to get through it. So who knows? So it's not easy. It's not easy trying to figure out the right solution. You know, but I definitely you know I like a lot of females. I think a lot of people, a lot of these women are incredibly interesting. Um, you know, the personalities, the chemistry. Uh, yeah. Yo. I'm definitely feeling the therapy. I'm feeling it. My head hurts a little bit, but it's good. And this video is getting kind of long, 30 minutes or whatever. So I think I'm probably just gonna end it here. But talked about a couple things that are important for me to vent. I've been wanting to vent about these things for a long time. So thank you for listening. And yeah. So, all right, y'all. Have a good night. I'm gonna go rest, probably watch a movie, play some video games, and probably get ready for work tomorrow. So, okay. Y'all have a good night. Bye.